Ozempic. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I definitely tried it. When I tell you it was the worst decision I ever made. So if this is a warning to anyone, please, if you're thinking about doing it, do not take it. Like, it's so not worth it. I took it for 2 weeks and I've never felt so sick in my life. I felt so sick one day. I said to my friend, like, I can't keep any water down. I can't keep any food down, like no liquids, nothing. I need to go to the hospital. Like, I feel really sick.
There are a million ways to lose weight. Why not do it through something that isn't as boring as working out? People hate on it because they want to do it. And the people who hate it on the most, the people who are secretly doing it or pissed off that they can't afford it.
Today we're talking about Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, GLP-1 medications, weight loss injections, side effects, loose skin, food noise, Ozempic face, and the part of rapid weight loss that does not always make it into the before and after videos. Because for some people, these medications are life-changing. But for others, the story is more complicated: nausea, rebound weight gain, loose skin, muscle loss, shortages, anxiety around food, beauty pressure, and the question of what happens when weight loss becomes another trend. Everyone is expected to keep up with.
We're one of the first people to be like, yeah, I was on Ozempic, didn't know, but
yes.
What do we think of this Ozempic takeover in Hollywood?
Well, listen, it's a miracle for anyone who's ever struggled with their weight. It really is. And a lot of people have. So everyone should do whatever they want with it. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If you want to take a drug to curb your appetite, do it.
I appreciate that you...
Excuse me.
Do you need
sorry.
some water?
No, I need some Ozempic.
I took my very first GLP-1 injection an entire year ago, and I cannot believe, one, that I waited so long to do it, but two, that it's been a whole year. I feel amazing. You know, you should feel amazing in any body, and I truly do believe that, but this is the body that I feel amazing in. I feel confident, I feel comfortable, and I really didn't know if I would ever get to that point again, because postpartum was really hard on me. Pregnancy was really hard on me. I gained 100 pounds while I was pregnant. Yes, 100 pounds. So losing that was really hard. It took, I mean, after 2 years, I was like, I've got to do something else. So then that's why I started the GLP-1. If you've been thinking about it, I think you should do it. The program that I go through, you can get $100 off until the end of May. That website is in my bio. And then you can, after May, it's $50 off, I believe. So yeah, if you've been thinking about it, I would say now's the time.
Medical experts are sounding the alarm over fresh evidence that weight loss drugs can seriously damage your eyesight. A new study out of the US suggests that active ingredients in drugs like Ozempic and Mounjaro can cause inflammation and block blood flow to the optic nerve, leading to severe and sometimes permanent blindness. They say more research is needed on the drug's long-term effect.
If GLP-1 medications just make you not eat, aren't you going to gain all the weight back when you stop it? Sure, if you don't change your eating habits as well. GLP-1 medications do a lot more than just reduce your appetite. They work on the brain and they quiet food noise. And food noise is obsessions and compulsions and ruminations around food. So I've had a lot more time to be able to figure out healthy eating habits. I now have the healthiest relationship with food I've had in my entire life. But here's the other thing. I have no plans of stopping this medication anytime soon. Because chronic conditions often benefit from a long-term solution. So just like a lot of other medications, people are using GLP-1 medications long-term. So despite what people say, I think there's a pretty good chance that I'll be able to maintain the weight loss. Oh, and research from over 20 years shows that there's less than a 1% chance of stomach paralysis. So I'll take the risk.
Is Ozempic good for people with PCOS?
This is the best question. I love this question. I started using these meds for my PCOS patients in 2014.
Oh, wow.
I will take credit for PCOS and Ozempic. I started using Trulicity, then I switched to Victoza. From Victoza, I went to Saxenda. From Saxenda, I went to Ozempic. From Ozempic, I went to Wegovy. From Wegovy, I went to Mounjaro and Zepbound. So that's how it has progressed.
Wow.
It works amazing. Why? Because of a few reasons. Number one, it regulates your insulin. Two, it affects your appetite. People feel full. I've literally used these medications for 10 years. I've never seen anything complicated or bad with it.
You know, I see this term all over social media, Ozempic face. What is that, and why do people think that a GLP-1 changes somebody's face?
Well, it's not the GLP-1, it's the drop of rapid weight loss or significant weight loss. And why is this? Because of not eating enough protein. So as you lose, if you're losing muscle because don't have enough protein in your diet while on this medication, you're not only going to lose muscle, you're going to lose hair, you're going to lose elasticity in your skin because we need protein to make collagen, elastin, right? Also, you need muscle to fill the gaps of the fat loss, right? The goal here is not skinny, it's strong, it's fit, So you need to fill those pockets with muscle. Now, if you're not losing muscle by increasing your protein intake, then you're going to make enough collagen. You're losing weight slowly, so you're allowing your skin to adapt to the changes. But if you lose weight rapidly, it means that you're also losing muscle. It means that don't have enough protein in your diet, so you're not making collagen and elastin.
I'm about to show y'all why when you're on a GLP-1, you should work out. Because did I lose almost 100 pounds on my GLP-1 without working out? Yes. Are there consequences of me doing so? Yes, I will show y'all now one moment. This is one of them that I've shown in a video in the past. I got this leg fupa. This is the bottom of my calf. Look how skinny my knee portion is. And if my leg is sitting on something, look how all this loose skin just pulls. Like if I put both legs up, they look small, but if it's relaxed and can lay, like you can clearly see this is my actual leg here. And this is all loose meat. Do I regret my GLP-1? Fuck no. I don't even know that I regret not working out because I'm lazy and I hate working out. But this is just me letting you know what the consequences are, and you can decide if you want to deal with it or not.
Yesterday, I finally had my Ozempic face fixed. For those of you that are new here, my name is Jade. I have been on a GLP-1 journey since January 2025, and I have lost just over 5 stone. I am now maintaining my weight loss, and a few weeks back, I realised that I had the dreaded Ozempic face. Dun dun dun! But let's be honest, it's nothing to do with the medication. The changes in my face were simply caused by losing a significant amount of weight. Doesn't matter how I lost that weight, my face was going to change. Was it noticeable to everybody else? Maybe not. I mean, nobody's commented, but maybe they're just being polite. This is a picture of my face just the other day, and what I'm referring to are these lines here. Since losing the weight, in my eyes, these lines were much more prominent. So, yesterday, in the name of vanity, I decided to have that fixed. I paid a visit to the amazing ACL Aesthetics. Guys, if you are in Staffordshire, look her up. She is literally a magician. Anyway, right now, there's still a little bit of swelling. However, Ozempic face is no more. If you are put off starting a GLP-1 journey because of the scaremongering around Ozempic face, don't be. I promise you, it is not the medication, it's simply the weight loss. And actually, something to be proud of. It shows you've lost the weight, including in your face. Did I need the fillers? Absolutely not. Has it made me feel 1,000,000 times better? Most definitely. And whilst I was there, I didn't just have a spot of filler. I had something done that I didn't even know was possible. The one part of my body that I have always been most self-conscious of was my nose. And apparently there is such thing as a non-surgical rhinoplasty. Who knew? This is a picture of my nose before and after fillers. Fillers in the nose. So whilst I am absolutely buzzing that these lines have gone, this one quite literally made me cry happy tears. This is nothing to do with the medication, the weight loss, Ozempic face. I was born with that nose. And I paid for that one. So, don't be afraid of Ozempic face. It's fixable.
I feel like I'm unwinding a story that isn't being told. So I asked everyone I knew, are you using Ozempic for anything other than appetite suppression or weight loss or diabetes? And they all said no. So I started myself at a tiny little dose, and my first impact within days was brain clarity. Anxiety immediately dropped, which I didn't even realize I had. A calmness took over me, which was so amazing. And within 2 weeks, my pain was down significantly. What I noticed was everything was starting to move and pop again. I was getting mobility back. And by week 2, I wanted to move again. So this version of me that just wanted to go do my workout, go to my work, and then lay down on my back, I wasn't doing that anymore. And I found myself dancing and hula hooping around the house again. And I found myself just being much more active. I also noticed a little bit of weight loss. So I quickly started putting people on it. Nobody was on it for weight loss. Everyone had a little bit of weight, fell right off, and very similar responses. It shifts your gut microbiome to a more favorable microbiome if you do it right. Everybody just had these profound impacts. My daughter's skin, cystic acne. I remember seeing her after 3 weeks on it. And I was like, your skin is porcelain. What happened? My husband didn't want to drink anymore. The guy is a known alcoholic. His blood pressure regulated out. All of these little things, these peptides are healing, they are anti-inflammatory, and they are regenerative.
As a 36-year-old who struggled with my weight primarily all my life, since about, I don't know, 15, 16 years old, go get the shot. I'm 40 pounds down since August. Food noise is off. I'm wearing things that last year I couldn't even squeeze on. Go get the shot. Don't get in your head too much about it. Just go get the shot. You will feel so much better. You will not obsess over food. You will not stress over food. Go get the shot.
One of the biggest themes in this video is that GLP-1 medications are not one simple thing. And that is where the conversation needs to start. Because online, people tend to treat Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, and other GLP-1 medications like they're either a miracle or a disaster. But the truth is a lot more layered than that. For some people, these medications have genuinely changed their lives. They talk about losing weight they struggled to lose for years. They talk about food noise finally quieting down. They talk about feeling less inflamed, having more mobility, having better blood work, feeling more confident, fitting into clothes again, and not obsessing over food every hour of the day. And for people who have dealt with PCOS, insulin resistance, prediabetes, binge eating patterns, postpartum weight gain, chronic hunger, or years of feeling like their body is fighting them, that kind of relief can feel huge. And that part deserves to be respected. Because a lot of people are tired of being told weight loss is just about willpower. For some bodies, it is not that simple. Hormones, insulin, medications, mental health, chronic illness, pregnancy, trauma, metabolism, appetite signals, and genetics can all play a role. So when someone says a GLP-1 helped them feel in control of their body for the first time, I do not think that should be dismissed as cheating. But the other side is that these medications are still medications. They are not magic. They are not casual. They are not just a cute little shortcut with no trade-offs. People are also talking about nausea, vomiting, constipation, heartburn, dehydration, fatigue, dizziness, food aversions, loose skin, hair loss, muscle loss, and the mental stress of wondering what happens if they stop. So the conversation cannot just be, go get the shot. And it also cannot just be, never take it. It has to be honest.
I'm actually going to crash the fuck out. I have not felt this ravenous and out of control around food since when I started a GLP-1. I cannot stop thinking about food. While I'm literally eating a meal, I'm thinking about my next meal. I switched from Zepbound to Wegovy a month ago. I've been on Wegovy. It will be a month in like 2 or 3 days. I'm actually going mental. That's what I'm going. I'm going mental because I cannot live like this. Like, I did not realize how irritable it makes me, how depressed it makes me, how anxious it makes me. Like, oh my God. Like, I know this is so dramatic. Some people are just not gonna get it, but like Zepbound got rid of all of that. Like, I had such a healthy relationship with food. Like, I ate when I was hungry, I stopped when I was full, and like that's it. I did not like overeat like this, and I'm just constantly thinking about food. And what's difficult about it is it's not like I don't have anything in my system. It's just enough GLP-1 so that I don't actually like feed into those like inappropriate cravings. But it will go something like this. I will be eating, okay? Like today I was eating a Chipotle, not a Chipotle bowl, but it was like my own like little Chipotle bowl. I'm eating this little burrito bowl, and then while I'm eating, I'm like, what should I have next? Oh, I wish I had chips and salsa. I don't have chips and salsa. Maybe I could deliver chips and salsa. Okay, no, it's $20. I'm not gonna deliver. Well, what if I get like popcorn? Well, should I have it delivered? Oh my gosh, ice cream sounds so good. I'm just literally, I will do that. I'm not joking when I say this, for an hour. I will be going through all the apps. I'll be looking on like, well, what's closest? Like maybe I could walk there and like, I don't need to be thinking about food when I'm literally eating food. Do you see how this like actually stresses me out and like actually gives me anxiety, debilitating anxiety throughout my entire day? Like, I cannot fucking live like that. I cannot live like that. It is every single day, multiple times a day since I switched from Zepbound to Wegovy. I can't fucking do it. I realized I was just on the 1 milligram, which is essentially a starter dose. And like, that's like water. That my body said, that's fucking water, bitch. That's child's play. Get us that therapeutic dose now. But the problem is I already went to pick up the 1.7 because I am obviously moving up dose. I can't stay on a starter dose. If I could go back, I would ask my doctor to put me on an actual therapeutic fucking dose of this medication because I can't do the titrate. Just give me the fucking side effects if I get the side effects, and I'll be Gucci because I can't fucking live like this. I can't live like this.
So I'm on Ozempic for my PCOS. I have been for like the last 3 years, and I can't get it, and it's gonna kill me. So I've been on Ozempic since Ozempic was Ozempic. And what I mean by that is no one knew what it was. It was not widely used for weight loss, etc. My dad is a doctor and he does a lot of work with people with endocrine disorders. And so I was having a really bad time with my PCOS. I'd been diagnosed for a while. I was rapidly gaining weight. My skin was awful. I was getting really lightheaded all the time. And he was doing a clinical trial for people with PCOS. He was seeing really good results. So I got started on it. It lightened my periods. It made my skin better. It prevented me from passing out. Everyone's PCOS is a little bit different, but the way that mine, like the biggest symptom of mine besides like the heavy periods and the bad skin, is the fact that when you take my blood, my A1C, so my blood sugar levels are like chilling, they're normal, they're average. But when I wear a continuous glucose monitor, my blood sugars can go from literally like 200 to 30 in a matter of 30 minutes. Yes, this has happened before. And when that happens, it makes me feel like I'm gonna pass out. It makes me really hangry. I get shaky. My mouth gets dry. I just feel like shit. But now, since everyone and their mom is trying to get on Ozempic, I cannot get it because I'm not diabetic. So technically it is not FDA approved for me. And I understand I'm not diabetic. So it's not even technically for me. And this is not about people who are obese, who are pre-diabetic, who are insulin resistant, who have an endocrine disorder, and are trying to use Ozempic to lose weight. This is for the people who have like 20 pounds to lose, those celebrities that are using it to get that heroin chic look that people are promoting again. Because I don't give a rat's ass about my weight right now. What I care about is the fact that I woke up this morning covered in sweat, so anxious right out of the gate because my blood sugars had dropped when I slept and I felt like shit. All day today, I have been eating consistently, snacking. I've been eating high protein and high fat meals. And within an hour, I feel like garbage again because I have been without it for 3.5 weeks because my insurance won't cover it. So it would cost me over $1,000 to fill. And that's just for 1 month's supply. Normally I fill 3 months supply at a time. That would be $3,000. And it sucks because I am not even like in a life or death type situation. There are people out there who literally cannot get insulin because of their insurance. But it also sucks because I was having a really shitty week last week and I met with my therapist this week and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a good week. I'm gonna do all these things to like make me feel good. And so I've been implementing them this week and I've been trying really hard to have a good week and do things that are good for my mental health and make me feel good. But I can't control the fact that my blood sugars are continuously dipping. And so it's just, I've been so consistently anxious and every time I'm like, I eat, I'm not anxious again, and then it crashes again. And it's just such a vicious cycle and I feel so disgusting.
Here's everything you need to know if you are starting Ozempic. So the first thing is that you are going to puke. You're going to get nauseous, you're going to puke. But here's some tips so that way you can alleviate that. First thing is to avoid fast food. Avoid greasy, salty, extra sugary foods because you're more likely to puke. Even when I had spicy food or even alcohol would trigger me to puke. You can also try ginger tablets or I think peppermint tea. Somebody has told me that works really well. So those are some things you can do. And also try to space out your meals and make them smaller so that way you can eat as much as you can. Another thing is that when you puke, you're going to be dizzy and you're going to want to drink water really, really quick. And you're going to want to eat food really, really quick because you just puked and you're going to be hungry. Don't do that. Try to drink slowly and eat slowly or you're going to puke again and feel worse. The next thing is that Ozempic is not a wonder drug. So even though Ozempic is very helpful for people on their weight loss journey, it is not a cure. It is not like the answer to everything. You still have to make sure that you're eating well and that you're getting at least some sort of exercise or movement in every single day. And on top of that, you really want to work on your gut health. That is an underlying issue that a lot of people have. I have a whole gut health plan that I follow, but gut health affects our metabolism and is sometimes the reason why people have such a small calorie deficit, even though they shouldn't. And gut health really affects our food absorption. So that is really helpful to know when you're on Ozempic, because at some point you're going to want to stop. That's the next thing. When you stop Ozempic, everybody's going to tell you that you will gain the weight back. Here's the thing. I stopped Ozempic. I'm not on it anymore. And I have lost 25 pounds without Ozempic. So to lose that 25 pounds without Ozempic, that was me focusing on my gut health and following my gut health plan that I have. And without it, I've lost that amount. So you can still lose weight without Ozempic, or you can maintain your weight without Ozempic. The key is nutrition and knowing all these sort of healthy living tips on your own. The next thing is that Ozempic slows down your digestion. So that means you are more likely to have a lot of burps or heartburn. I got heartburn when I was on Ozempic. It was super horrible. There's nothing really you can do because Ozempic's just going to slow down your digestive system, and it's just something that's going to happen, but it's something to expect and it's completely normal when you're on Ozempic. The last thing is constipation. Everybody on Ozempic has constipation. Sometimes you'll get a few episodes of diarrhea, but most people get constipation. And I have a personal like powder that I use that's called Superfood Greens, and it will just flush out your system. Other things that have been helpful is Restorelax and Metamucil, and Senecat if it's really bad. But I have been using sort of a natural supplement. You could say that has just been clearing out my system, no problem. Even now I struggle with it, and it just is so helpful.
My GLP-1 journey, I feel like it's been a minute since I did like kind of a little update. And what I'm about to say, I really don't care. You can call me superficial. I could care less. No one's going to tell me how I feel and what's going on in this brain of mine. This has changed my life. I understand, looking a particular way. For some people, they think that's like taboo or something to say you want to look skinny. I don't give a, you know what? The way my confidence has come back, I can buy clothes without even trying them on and they fit beautifully. That for me, I got a new job, okay, where I'm literally on camera, okay? My job is to be on camera. The way that I would have had a full-blown meltdown when they told me that I needed to dress, professional, like business professional, I would have had a meltdown being the way that I was, okay? Now I literally can just buy clothes, I put them on, they fit beautifully, and I love the way that I look. Let's talk about the health benefits. I no longer have the aches and pains that I had before. I literally thought I was going to need a full-blown hip replacement. Something was wrong with my hip, my knees. It was hard for me to do workouts. I couldn't do them because of my knees. I no longer have those problems. The way the inflammation has depleted from my body, I feel like a completely different person, but I will say the way that my confidence has come back, okay? Ignore this, which also don't forget to take your biotin and pumpkin seed oil if you'd like to protect your hair. Okay. The way my confidence has come back, I feel like I could take on the world.
Another major theme is food noise. And honestly, food noise might be one of the biggest reasons these medications feel so emotional for people. Because if you have never dealt with constant food thoughts, it can be hard to understand how exhausting it is. Some people are not just hungry. They are thinking about food while they are eating food. They are planning the next meal before finishing the current one. They are battling cravings, guilt, restriction, binge urges, and mental loops all day. So when people take a GLP-1 and suddenly that noise gets quiet, it can feel like freedom. It can feel like their brain finally has room for something else. It can feel like they can eat, stop, move on, and not spend the rest of the day negotiating with themselves over chips, ice cream, delivery apps, snacks, cravings, and guilt. That is not laziness. That is relief. But the scary part is when the food noise comes back. One woman talked about switching medications and feeling like she was losing her mind because the food thoughts came roaring back. She was eating and already thinking about what she wanted next. That kind of mental spiral can feel debilitating, especially after experiencing what it feels like to have quiet for the first time. And this is where people need long-term support, not just a prescription. If the medication quiets the food noise, that is helpful. But people still need tools for nutrition, emotional eating, strength training, meal planning, protein intake, hydration, mental health, and what to do if the medication changes, stops working, becomes unaffordable, or is no longer available. Because if someone's entire sense of control depends on one medication, then a shortage, insurance denial, dose change, or side effect can feel like the ground being pulled out from under them. That does not mean the medication is bad. It means support matters. Follow-up matters, education matters, and people deserve more than just take the shot and good luck.
Everybody wants to lose weight and everybody wants to take Ozempic. But there are some things that you need to know before you take Ozempic or any other GLP-1 med. And a lot of these things I'm going to say, you're not going to like. So let's just jump right in. When you start taking a GLP-1 med and you lose weight, if you take the medicine away, there is a strong possibility that you will gain all of your weight plus more back. Especially if you have not developed a routine when it comes to your meal plan, a routine when it comes to your body, and a routine when it comes to your mindset and your role on your weight loss journey. You see, a lot of people don't know these meds are used to treat a chronic disease. That disease is called obesity. Obesity is a chronic disease just like all the others. For example, diabetes, you treat that chronically, long-term. Cardiovascular disease, you treat that chronically, long-term. Autoimmune diseases, you treat those chronically, long-term. So now that you know that, there's no need for you to start the medicine if you don't plan on A, taking it long-term, or B, teaching yourself routines that you can manage effectively to prevent gaining your weight back. And time out. I'm not fussing, I'm educating. Okay, let's get back to it. So number 2, when you take a GLP-1 med like Ozempic, you will have gastric symptoms, side effects. Side effects like nausea, constipation, diarrhea, dehydration headaches, sulfur burps, fatigue, body aches. I can go on. But one thing I can tell you, your good days will outweigh your bad, and dealing with minor side effects as opposed to staying in an inflammatory state secondary to obesity, exacerbating all of your other comorbidities, that's like a no-brainer. Do you want to be healthy and take a injection every day, or do you want to risk MIs, myocardial infarctions, strokes, diabetes, autoimmune diseases, fatty liver disease, sleep apnea? I can really go on. Any side effect that you get while you're on a GLP-1 medication, you can go right to the local CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Walmart, Kmart, Target, and get you some over-the-counter medication to treat your symptoms. Let's be clear. These are not emergency room symptoms. You can treat this stuff at home. And oh God, you're really not gonna like this one. If you have a lot of weight to lose, expect loose skin. Expect loose skin, especially if you come over here and you decide that you want to lose weight rapidly. What's going to happen is you're going to lose body weight. You're going to lose fluid because you were retaining, but you're also going to lose muscle. It's going to make you weak. You're going to be fatigued. You're going to have loose hanging skin. And now, Houston, we have another problem. So when you decide to get on GLP-1 meds, your mindset has to be prepared that at some point in your journey, preferably the beginning, you're going to have to do some type of resistance training, some type of strength training, some type of preservation of your muscle mass. Protein is definitely important in this particular situation. Number 4, expect shortages. Just because you get a prescription, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get your branded versions at the pharmacy, because they have been having a lot of distribution issues. Expect the unexpected. Have a plan A, a plan B, C, and D, and also familiarize yourself with compounded versions, semaglutide and tirzepatide, because at some point you may or may not have to lean to compounded versions of these medications. They're amazing. I'm on them. I'm maintaining a 74-pound weight loss, and I'm extremely happy.
Let's talk about loose skin after losing a lot of weight. I'm Amanda, and I've lost 82 pounds through GLP-1 medication, exercise, and diet. And I have loose skin. A lot of loose skin. And it sucks. I hate it. I really hate it. And you know what? One day I probably will get skin removal surgery. It's just in my foreseeable future. But I'm gonna finish losing all the weight I want to lose first before I do that. But in the meantime, what do I do? Well, honestly, I try to hide it because I don't like it. My arms are probably my biggest insecurity right now with losing the weight, but it's what's happening. I would not change anything about my journey because of the loose skin. I've heard people say they don't want to lose weight because they would rather be overweight than have a loose skin. And to those people, I would say being overweight and obese is not worth it. I would much rather have my loose skin than being 282 pounds again. So if you're trying to decide if it's worth it to lose the weight, it is. I don't like my loose skin. I do want to have it removed eventually, but I would not change anything about this journey because of my loose skin. So I'm going to embrace it. We're going to Mexico in a few weeks here, and I am wearing all my cute swimsuits regardless of what my body looks like. Yes, I have loose skin on my legs. I have apron belly because I've got loose skin.
I've been off Ozempic for over a month. Let's talk about it. As you guys know, there's been a shortage of Ozempic pens in Canada, and I chose to look at it as a positive situation to see how my body would react without the medication. First things first, I am not at my goal. I would still love to lose another 15 to 20 pounds, but I unfortunately can't afford a $500 bill or more to get multiple pens to get me to my dose. What you're all wondering, my weight. My last dose, I was 191 pounds. In the last month since that dose, I have lost an additional 4 pounds to my lowest weight of 187 pounds. And now my weight just kind of fluctuates every day between that 187 pound and that 191 pound range. And honestly, I'm okay with that. The fact that I have not shot up in weight and initially lost a couple of pounds and have just kind of stayed around that same weight, I am more than okay with. Another thing that a lot of us struggled with is food noise, and I was fully expecting that was going to come back in hot and heavy this month, and surprisingly it hasn't. At least for the first couple weeks it didn't. Over the last week I have caught myself a few times mentally having to take a step ahead, realize I don't need more food, I only want more food because it tastes good, and implementing those good habits that I have been working on over the last 10 months to combat my mind to get ahead of it. As I said, I still have another 15 to 20 pounds that I would ideally like to lose. So that doesn't mean that my journey with Ozempic or Mounjaro or a GLP-1 medication is over. It's just taking a little pause right now because, I want to put my fists up to get a pen.
I feel like it's finally time to speak my truth, and that is that I was on Ozempic. I really just wanted to give a fully honest, transparent, unfiltered experience with it, because I feel like it's not talked about that way enough, and while there are benefits, there's a lot of consequences with it. Because this video is so long, I feel like it probably won't reach many people, but that's fine because I feel like it's healthy for me to put it out there in the open. I don't like doing two-part videos, so if it's too long, just speed it up. And if you know me in real life, no you don't. So my freshman year of high school was absolutely brutal. I had like a 5-month-long chronic migraine, had to be hospitalized multiple times for it, and tried an abundance of medications, and they all led to me gaining a lot of weight from it and just completely fucked my hormones. I went from being like 135 pounds to 170 something that year within just a few months. And then my sophomore year, I kind of plateaued around 180 something, which was still not good. And it all led to my multiple eating disorders, which isn't the point, but it probably fucked with my endocrine system all the same. Going into my junior year is when it really got bad. I got up to probably 235 pounds, and I was eating all the right things. I was exercising frequently, weight training all the time, and nothing I did seemed to work, even though it should have for a normal person. I already had severe depression and anxiety at that point, but my weight being what it was and how I looked just added to that. So my mom was like, okay, we'll take you to the doctor and tell her what's going on. And my doctor sent me to an endocrinologist. I was 17 at this time, so we went to the endocrinologist, got my blood work done. They said I was insulin resistant and hypoglycemic, and they started me on Ozempic. At the start of me taking the medication, I would go back into my doctor every month, and they would see where I was at and then increase the dosage. Within the first month, I probably lost close to 10 pounds. I feel like hardly anybody talks about the intense nausea you get when you're on Ozempic. You lose so much weight because you are either nauseous all the time or you just don't feel like eating anything, ever. From week to week, in between taking my shot, I probably had 2 or 3 days out of it where I actually genuinely felt okay, that I felt good. However, it was working really, really well, and the weight was coming off, and I was able to go to the gym and actually see results, and I loved it. I was addicted to it. I was able to wear outfits that I was always envious of other girls being able to wear, and I could go to the pool or the beach without being self-conscious, and I loved my body finally. By December or January of my senior year, I was probably down to like 168 pounds, and then by April, May-ish, I was down to like an even 160. And I was probably on 1.75 milligrams at that point, I want to say. I will say the longer I was on it, it started to not make me as nauseous as when I first started taking it, but the nausea was 100% still there. I tried quite a few things to help with the nausea. The ones I can think of are like Dramamine and like the motion sickness wristbands, but the only one that actually worked for me was ginger gum, so I was chewing ginger gum like all the time. Then at the end of the school year, I had something severely traumatic happen to me, and I just stopped taking all my medications altogether. My antidepressant, my Ozempic, everything that I was on, I stopped taking. I went back into severe depression and just threw myself into my job at the time because I took a gap year before I went to college, and I was just working constantly and disassociating from life. I started slowly gaining my weight back because I didn't have my Ozempic to regulate my system anymore, and the number just kept climbing and climbing. And now I'm 20 years old and I've gained all my weight back, and probably a little bit more than what I was before I started Ozempic. And it's just really fucked me up. A couple months ago, I tried to get into my doctor and see if I could get back on it, and they ran my blood work, and even though I'm the exact same as I was before I started it, insurance won't cover it. They said I don't qualify. And even though I was on Ozempic at that time, I feel like I went from having like my teenage body system or whatever, to now going through like second puberty, I guess, and having to adjust to an adult woman body. So gaining all my weight back on top of that has just been awful. And if you're not somebody that's ever struggled with like jumping around the scale and body image issues, you're not going to get this, but it just really messes up everything, because you don't want to take pictures anymore, you don't want to go do things anymore, you don't want to live life anymore because you're embarrassed about how you look, and it's just an awful way of living life, and having to do that and having to think about it constantly. And don't even get me started on pretty privilege and like society accepted body types, because going from having that kind of body type and having that pretty privilege, skinny privilege even, to being the exact same person and not having that anymore is really difficult. And
the side effects are where the conversation gets even more complicated. Some people say their side effects were manageable. Others say they were extremely sick. One person talked about taking Ozempic for 2 weeks and feeling like they could not keep food or water down. Others talk about nausea, puking, constipation, diarrhea, sulfur burps, heartburn, dehydration headaches, fatigue, dizziness, and feeling wiped out. And the hard part is that some people online normalize the side effects a little too casually. They say, you're going to puke, or you'll be nauseous, or just take something over the counter. And while that may be true for mild symptoms, I think people have to be careful. There is a difference between expected discomfort and your body clearly telling you something is wrong. If someone cannot keep down water, if they feel severely dehydrated, if the pain is intense, if they are fainting, or if symptoms feel scary, that is not something to brush off for the sake of weight loss. There are also bigger concerns people are talking about now, like gallbladder issues, stomach problems, possible eye-related concerns, and warnings about long-term effects still being studied. And I think this is where people should avoid extremes. It is not helpful to scare everyone into thinking every GLP-1 will ruin their health. But it is also not helpful to pretend these medications are completely harmless just because they work for a lot of people. Medication can be beneficial and still have risks. A person can love their results and still need monitoring. A doctor can prescribe something for a good reason, and the patient still needs to pay attention to their body. That is how adult conversations about health should work. And one thing that keeps coming up is that people should not be using these medications without medical guidance, especially if they have other health conditions, a history of eating disorders, pregnancy plans, severe G issues, or mental health concerns. This is not just a trend. This is a medication that affects appetite, digestion, blood sugar, and how people relate to food.
What's the one thing that every plastic surgeon hates about Ozempic? I mean, it gives us a ton of business with extra skin, so what's not to like about it? Let me tell you. These medications have been life-changing for people for weight loss, myself included. There's one thing, though, that people are just now starting to realize. It makes you lose weight everywhere, including your face, where we don't necessarily want to lose volume because that's a sign of aging. The problem is this isn't a slow, natural loss. The rapid weight loss means that your skin sags, everything drops down, and it ages you prematurely at a very quick timeline. To combat this, plastic surgeons offer volume replacement or facial rejuvenation procedures. Now, volume replacement doesn't always have to be fillers, although that's often what we use. We also have biostimulatories in our disposal, and also if you have any fat left in your body, that's a great natural replacement for volume loss. These approaches can put back the volume that you lost, give you a youthful appearance back, and improve the elasticity and appearance of your skin overall.
I don't want to exercise. I'll just take Ozempic. That's a thing I'm sure you're aware of, like Ozempic butt or whatever, where housewives who had no interest in resistance training or building muscularity, no interest in controlling their diets or eating healthier, they just take a crap load of Ozempic and they're like, oh, I've lost a ton of weight, but now I'm sarcopenic. That's definitely a bad outcome, but I would say that's more of a slight misapplication of pharmaceutical technology, and there is such a thing as proper application. And I think in the end, we'll have a cocktail of drugs that are increasingly better at doing things, increasingly lower risks and downsides. I think that's a world we want to live in.
I have 15 pounds of extra skin. Let's talk about it. Today I went to my doctor because she has an aesthetic side to her practice. So we were going to work on some skin tightening. We want to start with my stomach. We were going to get to my arms eventually and get this little bit here, right here, a little bit of my back. We were going to do my legs, but she says my legs are a lost cause and I need surgery. So then we talked about that, and she did some things and figured it out. She said, you have 15 pounds of extra skin. 15 pounds. Now, mind you, I have lost 113 pounds on a GLP-1 as of today, and 193 in all. So that's a lot of weight. And therefore, now I have a lot of excess skin. My one thing that I was taken aback by is I now weigh 135 pounds. And with that 15 pounds of skin, I'm past my goal weight. Does that count? I don't know. She told me to go ahead and get to my goal weight, that was okay, because even with that 15 pounds of skin, it's still in a healthy weight for me. So we're gonna keep going and lose those last 7. But she said without the skin, I am 120 pounds. What? The skin is really bothersome to me. I want to tell myself it's okay. I've worked really hard. It's okay to have this extra skin, but it really does take a toll on me mentally. I can't physically see the changes in my body because of all the skin, especially on my stomach and my legs. My arms, because I've built so much muscle, it doesn't bother me really, but my stomach and my legs really get to me and get to my self-confidence. So I am going to have to weigh my options, but surgery was not an option for me until now it's on the table today that I might have to do it. So what are you guys doing? Those of you who are getting closer to maintenance or in maintenance, what are some decisions you're making? Because I can't believe it. I have to start thinking about this though. But I guess let's celebrate the win of technically, I'm already past my goal weight by 8 pounds. Yay!
Hi, I'm Day. So today I'm going to be a bit more vulnerable and kind of share. Since I am down more than 60 lbs on a GLP, I figured the most common question I get is do you have loose skin? Where do you have loose skin? So I will kind of share. I do have a little bit of loose skin in arms and around belly. So I do want to share that today. So if someone ever feels discouraged or anything about the loose skin, it's natural. I feel like it kind of shows strength that your body has been through a really wonderful change and you're taking care of yourself. So I just figured I'd share. So I do have a little bit in arms. Here, a little bit in arms. I am a little bit kind of insecure sometimes because I feel like it could be more toned. And, I do have a little bit kind of this area. It is getting better as I work on strength resistance, things like that, and belly. So, and I do have a ton of stretch marks and I have a little bit in the belly. Could it be worse? Yes. So I am always that's kind of the main areas. Do I think it's horrible? No, I love myself. I feel really great in my skin. And I'm very blessed to be even my most healthy self to this day. So if you are having loose skin, don't worry. Collagen helps, strength resistance exercises, things like that. And it's natural, okay? So hopefully this helps someone out there, but loose skin is just something that happens sometimes, and that's nothing to be ashamed of.
Another huge theme is the body changes after rapid weight loss. People keep talking about Ozempic face, loose skin, muscle loss, hair loss, and feeling like their body changed faster than their mind could process. And I think this is one of the most important parts of the conversation because the internet loves the smaller body, but it does not always show the cost of getting there quickly. Ozempic face is not necessarily the medication changing someone's face directly. A lot of people explain it as rapid or significant weight loss. When you lose weight, you can lose volume in your face. The cheeks can look flatter. The skin can look looser. The folds can look more noticeable. The face can look older or more tired, especially if someone loses muscle, does not eat enough protein, or loses weight very quickly. And then what happens? People lose weight and get praised. But then they are told their face looks older. So now the same beauty culture that told them to shrink their body is telling them to refill their face. Lose the weight, but do not lose volume. Be thin, but not gaunt. Be smaller, but not saggy. Be healthy, but still look youthful. And suddenly weight loss creates a new cosmetic problem to solve. That is why we are seeing more people talk about fillers, biostimulators, skin tightening, fat transfer, surgery, and body contouring after GLP-1 weight loss. The weight comes off, but then there is loose skin. The face changes. The butt changes. The arms change. The stomach changes. The legs change. Some people feel stronger and healthier, but some also feel insecure in a new way because now they're dealing with extra skin, sagging, or a body that looks different from what they expected. And this is why strength training and protein matters so much. The goal should not just be skinny. The goal should be strong, nourished, mobile, and healthy. If someone loses a lot of weight without resistance training or enough protein, they may lose muscle along with fat. And losing muscle can affect the face, the body, energy, posture, metabolism, and overall strength. So the before and after cannot just be about the scale. It has to be about how the person feels, how they function, and whether they are protecting their health while losing weight.
I don't know if you've seen the new Hunger Games movie, not this one, I'm talking about this one. Just as some background in case you're not familiar, a lot of celebrities have been losing substantial amounts of weight, which is evident in photographs of them at award shows or red carpet events. It is wrong to talk about women's bodies individually, which is why we're not going to do that, we're going to talk about them collectively. As someone who had a really bad eating disorder in the midst of the body positivity era, I am terrified for people who are going through a similar thing now and are also having an entire culture that fuels that kind of dysfunction. I personally think that celebrities have the responsibility to hold themselves to a higher standard, understanding that they influence trends and cultures and beauty standards. Definitely need to stop engaging with this content altogether, especially content which praises or even criticizes celebrities for having a very thin body. I think we also need to show a lot more empathy for individual celebrities who have a drastically thinner body. I've seen a lot of hate going around pushed towards them, and even if they have not lost weight due to an unrelated factor such as mental health issues, an illness, anything of that sort, and even if they are struggling with restrictive eating or an eating disorder, God forbid, they need empathy.
I honestly regret telling anyone that I ever took Ozempic, and I'm just going to be extremely honest with you right now. I have never been ashamed of taking Ozempic, and anyone taking Ozempic should never ever be ashamed of their medical decisions. That's between you and your doctor. While it has been amazing trying to break down the stigma around taking medications for weight loss and things like polycystic ovarian syndrome, it's also been extremely invalidating, and I'll tell you why. All of my hard work with weight loss, I've lost 100 pounds in the last 3.5 years. All of that is discounted because I took a medication for 10 months. Many people don't know my full story. Many people don't know how hard I've worked. All I hear is Ozempic, and they discount anything that I say after that. And honestly, I don't blame people or celebrities for not disclosing that they're taking Ozempic. Do I think that you should be honest? Absolutely, but you also don't owe anyone anything. You're attacked for taking Ozempic and disclosing it, and you're also attacked for taking Ozempic and not disclosing it. I've been overweight or fat since I was a child, and nothing I could do would ever help me lose weight like normal people. And it wasn't until I was diagnosed with insulin-resistant polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is PCOS, in 2015 that I understood why I could not lose weight properly. Many women with insulin-resistant PCOS are treated with drugs used to treat diabetes. Because our bodies can't process insulin properly, we are often developing type 2 diabetes by the time we turn 40. Drugs like Ozempic can be extremely preventative and help you lose the weight before you develop diabetes. And with PCOS, you actually have to eat 400 to 500 less calories per day than the average woman. That makes your calorie consumption much smaller, making it extremely hard to lose weight even with a professional helping you. And also many women with PCOS have binge eating disorder, which is also common in ADHD, which I advocate for. Many women cannot lose weight without something like Ozempic or semaglutide, because their bodies just store fat through no fault of their own. I didn't even know Ozempic was a thing until maybe a year ago, and when I started my weight loss journey, it was in 2020, in June, and this is how I started. I was 280 something pounds. I lost 70 pounds on my own, and I got down to 209 pounds, and at that point my doctor said, hey, have you heard of Ozempic? It might really help you because you have PCOS. Keep in mind, I lost 70 pounds of my own through a calorie deficit, and this is to not discount anyone who has only taken Ozempic or has only lost weight taking a medication, but I did 70 pounds of my own, so I know what I'm talking about. Now in those 10 months, I lost an additional 30 pounds, taking me to 100 pounds lost. I was around 180 pounds here. But I was in a calorie deficit. People don't understand that unless you are in a calorie deficit, taking Ozempic or taking semaglutide will not help you. And this is where I say that it discounts any hard work that you do, because I have been in a calorie deficit for 3.5 years. Since June 15th, 2020, I have been in an active calorie deficit, working hard every single day to lose over 100 pounds. And because I took a medication for 10 months, all of that is discounted. All Ozempic is a tool. Did it make my binge eating less? Yes. Did it make it easier for my body to not produce so much insulin? Yes. But I still controlled what I put in my body, what I ate, and my own diet. Many people take Ozempic and don't lose a pound because they're not in a calorie deficit. And they say, well, this doesn't work for me, because it's not a miracle drug. Ozempic will slow your stomach emptying so you feel full for longer, but you can still eat and drink whatever you want. In some extreme cases, people have a lot of nausea, and that's why they're not eating, but is that maintainable? No. So oftentimes when they come off off of Ozempic, they just gain it back because they're not learning proper nutrition and calorie deficits. They don't understand how to fuel their body. So when I say I have done the work, I have done the work. But all of that is always discounted because people say, didn't you take Ozempic? You don't know what you're talking about. And maybe you've gone through this too. Maybe you've lost a lot of weight. Maybe you're considering going on Ozempic, which I highly recommend. Ozempic changed my life. It took away the food noise. It was immensely helpful for my binge eating disorder and my ADHD and of course PCOS. But I will be forever haunted by people saying, I thought you were on Ozempic whenever I say anything about my weight loss journey, about my body, because all of that hard work will always be tainted with someone saying, didn't you just take Ozempic? Bestie, I wish it was that easy. I wish I just took Ozempic. And if they come out with a magic pill that makes everyone magically lose weight, please give it to me because that would be so much easier than the last 3.5 years. And this is no hate to the commenter, no hate at all. I'm just so extremely exhausted of my comment sections whenever people say, how did you lose weight? I was in a calorie deficit. I would have lost the weight whether I was on Ozempic or not. Ozempic is a tool. Have I disclosed it? Is it pinned on my page? Yes. But at the end of the day, Ozempic didn't make me lose 100 pounds. I made me lose 100 pounds. My hard work made me lose 100 pounds. My determination helped me lose 100 pounds. And there's absolutely no shame in taking a medication if you need it for weight loss.
There is also a major social pressure part of this. GLP-1 medications have changed the body standard almost overnight. Suddenly, celebrities are shrinking, influencers are shrinking, people at work are shrinking, friends are shrinking. And whether people admit it or not, that affects everyone watching. Some people who never cared about weight loss injections before are now wondering if they are falling behind. Some people are looking at their bodies differently because thinness is becoming hypervisible again. Some people are scared we are entering another version of the early 2000s thinness obsession, just with a medical tool attached to it. And that is where this becomes bigger than one medication. Because for people who medically need GLP-1s, this can be frustrating. People with PCOS, insulin resistance, diabetes, prediabetes, or chronic obesity may be using these medications as part of real medical care. But then the public conversation gets dominated by celebrities trying to lose 20 pounds, people chasing a heroin chic look, shortages, insurance issues, and stigma. And then the people using it for serious health reasons get judged, while also sometimes struggling to even access the medication dot. There is also a major social pressure part of this. GLP-1 medications have changed the body standard almost overnight. Suddenly, celebrities are shrinking. Influencers are shrinking. People at work are shrinking. Friends are shrinking. And whether people admit it or not, that affects everyone watching. Some people who never cared about weight loss injections before are now wondering if they are falling behind. Some people are looking at their bodies differently because thinness is becoming hypervisible again. Some people are scared we are entering another version of the early 2000s thinness obsession, just with a medical tool attached to it. And that is where this becomes bigger than one medication. Because for people who medically need GLP-1s, this can be frustrating. People with PCOS, insulin resistance, diabetes, prediabetes, or chronic obesity may be using these medications as part of real medical care. But then the public conversation gets dominated by celebrities trying to lose 20 pounds, people chasing a heroin chic look, shortages, insurance issues, and stigma. And then the people using it for serious health reasons get judged, while also sometimes struggling to even access the medication. That is a very real issue. Some people are paying hundreds or thousands out of pocket. Some people are dealing with insurance denials. Some people are losing access after relying on the medication for blood sugar regulation, PCOS symptoms, appetite control, or mental health stability around food. And that is not just a vanity problem. For some people, losing access affects their daily functioning. And at the same time, people who use the medication for weight loss are often shamed no matter what they do. If they disclose it, people say they cheated. If they do not disclose it, people say they lied. If they lose weight naturally, people say it is not enough. If they get surgery, people say it is cheating. If they take medication, people say it is cheating. It starts to feel like people do not actually want larger people to win. They just want to police how they try. So when you put all of these stories together, the bigger conversation is not simply Ozempic is good or Ozempic is bad. The bigger conversation is about health, access, beauty pressure, stigma, rapid weight loss, medical risk, and what happens when a real medication becomes a cultural trend. Because for some people, GLP-1 medications are genuinely life-changing. They help with food noise. They help with insulin resistance. They help with PCOS symptoms. They help people lose weight after years of struggling. They help some people move more, feel less inflamed, improve their health markers, and feel more comfortable in their bodies. That should not be dismissed. Nobody should be shamed for using a medication that helps them live better. But it is also true that these medications can come with side effects. Some people feel sick. Some people cannot tolerate them. Some people lose weight too quickly. Some people lose muscle. Some people deal with loose skin. Some people feel emotionally dependent on the medication because they are scared of the food noise coming back. Some people stop taking it and regain weight. Some people cannot afford it anymore. Some people get judged by strangers who know nothing about their health history. That is why this conversation needs nuance. GLP-1s are not a moral failure, and they are not a magic wand. They are a tool. And like any tool, how they are used matters. The dose matters, the medical supervision matters, the nutrition matters, the protein matters, the strength training matters, the mental health piece matters, the long-term plan matters, because weight loss is not just about getting smaller. It is about what happens after. Can you maintain it? Are you eating enough? Are you strong? Are you hydrated? Are you protecting your muscle? Are you dealing with the emotional reasons you might overeat or binge? Are you building habits that can support you if the medication changes? Are you prepared for loose skin? Are you prepared for your face to change? Are you prepared for people to treat you differently? Are you prepared for the mental whiplash of becoming a smaller version of yourself in a world that suddenly praises you more? That last part is important. A lot of people talk about confidence coming back after weight loss, and that is real. Being able to buy clothes easily, move without pain, fit comfortably in seats, walk upstairs without struggling, and feel good in your body can be life-changing. But it can also be painful to realize how differently the world treats you when you are smaller. That can mess with your head. It can make people feel angry, validated, sad, empowered, and resentful all at once. And then there's the pressure to fix everything else. You lose the weight, but now people talk about your loose skin. You lose the weight, but now people say you have the Ozempic face. You lose the weight, but now you need filler. You need skin tightening. You need fat transfer. You need body contouring. You need surgery. And it starts to feel like no matter what people do, the beauty standard moves again. That is why the goal has to be health, not just thinness. Thinness alone is not the finish line. A smaller body with no energy, no muscle, no nutrition, and constant anxiety is not automatically healthy. A bigger body is not automatically unhealthy either. Health is more complex than what someone looks like in a before and after photo. And that is the piece social media often misses. So maybe the healthiest conversation around GLP-1 medications is this: do not shame people for using them, but do not glamorize them like they are harmless. Do not pretend they are cheating, but do not pretend they are effortless. Do not scare people away from medical tools that could help them, but do not ignore side effects or long-term questions. And please do not let celebrity weight loss culture pressure you into a medication decision your body does not need. If someone is using a GLP-1 with medical supervision, eating enough, prioritizing protein, strength training, staying hydrated, monitoring side effects, and building a long-term plan, that is their business. If someone tried it and felt awful, that is valid too. If someone never wants to touch it, also valid. Everyone's body, health history, and relationship with food is different. At the end of the day, people deserve information, not shame. They deserve medical guidance, not TikTok fear-mongering. They deserve support, not judgment. And they deserve to make decisions about their bodies without feeling like the internet is waiting to call them lazy, vain, irresponsible, or not skinny enough. So I want to know what you think. Are GLP-1 medications being talked about honestly enough online? Do you think people are being too judgmental about Ozempic, or are people being too casual about the side effects? And if you have used a GLP-1, did it change your life, or did it come with things you were not prepared for?